I believe that the players are ready. So let's get into the first matchup of the day, GMU versus Coastal Carolina. It should be a good one to kick things off. We have seen a lot from both of these teams, but GMU so far has proven their dominance. Will they continue that dominance into game 2, or will we see the ultimate of ultimate upsets here from Coastal?
Yeah, and that's what Coastal is really riding on right now. This is their neck of the beach, so you have that sort of friendly advantage of your fans behind you. GMU coming from Virginia, not the easiest drive down, so not a lot of the fans are going to be here from GMU supporting live, but you will be there over on the streams. And, you know, that's a big thing about LAN environments, is having that backup behind you, as we are going to see this ball is going shot back and forth. And Joshua Squasher is going to start this one off with a 20-second goal. Way to start the day.
Yeah, absolutely. I wonder what it's like to drive from Virginia. That must be different. But of course, GMU kicking things off very, very strongly here, making sure that they are getting exactly what they need done, and that's exactly what's happening here. Is again, we're just seeing GMU do a great job of kicking things off and really staying dominant, keeping the possession of this ball, and just staying in control of this matchup.
Yeah, and that's really what you have to give credit to for a team like GMU, the ability for them to just start off so incredibly strong and just say, all right, here we go, we're going to start off, we're going to just make a goal right off of the bat. And, you know, I mean, during this entire situation here, GMU is just able to make goal after goal after goal. Dev made another one there, and GMU making once more, able to just go in, and, I mean, just like that, GMU is showing why they are seed number 1.
I mean, and this is really where I think our concerns were for Coastal Carolina, right? We knew that GMU was going to be a very strong team coming out here, and Coastal needs to figure out how to play to the speed and the strength of GMU. Obviously, you want to start your own game. You want to make sure that you're following that potential, but again, GMU is just too good at getting these possessions, in converting them into goals, as we see another goal from Titanium.
Yeah, Titanium and Dev and Squash are all 3 players now able to find those goals. Titanium with the most recent one there. And just like that, GMU, we're not even a minute in yet, and they're already up 4 against Coastal Carolina. GMU was definitely the beast coming in to this matchup, the shark of the beach, if you will. And GMU is showing that exactly, as we are going to see GMU staying on the aggression. The ball won't go in quite yet, as a demo will come out from Joshua Squasher. And just like that, we're going to see GMU continue on this aggression, continue on this power and this oppressiveness towards Coastal Carolina, as the shot will go in, but Dev can't quite find it. The pressure stays on. No one's on the goal. Joshua Squasher finds it, and just like that, GMU 5 up in game number 1.
What I really like here from what we're seeing is Coastal is there. They're trying to make these defenses, but GMU is just on rotation. They are just going through the motions. So if the ball doesn't go in, there's a second man. If the ball still doesn't go in, there's a third man. And by that time, they've already rotated back around, and it's back to first, second, third once more, and they just keep up this pressure, and Coastal Carolina just cannot keep up with it right now. Yeah,
and that's what you really have to be careful of for Coastal is, you know, you're down 5, but I mean, you can clearly see that GMU was able to make 5 goals in a minute and a half. So it's entirely possible for Coastal to even this back up, as a lot of things just happened, but Dev will manage to find that shot. GMU is looking unstoppable right now.
Absolutely, and I think the thing for Coastal is they were in Group B while GMU was in Group A, so they just hadn't played against GMU or someone of this level in a LAN environment, and it's just so different.
Yeah, and that's kind of, I mean, that's sort of one of the big downsides of having this, as what a shot from Coastal, able to hit that one right off the back of the car. This was beautiful.
Yeah, look at that, a perfect setup past the defenders and into the net.
Yeah, and there you have it for Coastal, able to find that first point there. And it's still possible for GMU to bring this, for Coastal to bring this back, but they have to be really, really careful. They can't let GMU get any more points here. They can't let them continue to keep that pressure on the goal, as a demo will come out. We are going to see Su Howie Dewey go in after this ball. So far after most of GMU, but Titanium will be looking to get this air dribble and go for the shot. Can't quite find it though, but now GMU can just play aggressive. But if you're GMU, right, you just want this match to end fast so you can go to match number 2, and you might not be going for these goals. You'll just be going for these quick and easy shots and going forward with these points. And that's what GMU is doing right now, kind of just playing around with the ball, making sure nothing is going wrong, and Coastal needs to find their way back.
Yeah, I mean, it is so difficult for Coastal to find their way back at this point, right? It's down by 5 points, 6-1. Even the one goal that you did get, unfortunately, was basically helped out by GMU, by a mistake from GMU. So, yeah, right now it is looking a bit tough. But again, this is a best of 5. Coastal does have some games to figure out what's happening and try to close some of the gaps that are left in their gameplay, that maybe they can take advantage of GMU, maybe take advantage of GMU getting a little bit overconfident.
Yeah, and you know, if you're GMU, you want to finish this one match fast, but if you're Coastal, you may already be thinking about game number 2. You know, sort of feel out how GMU wants to play this, feel out how they like to play, how they play, and then after you figure that out, you just come back in on top and you say, okay, you know, you guys are really, really good, but now we know how you play, now we can adapt. And I think that's, if you're Coastal Carolina, you're thinking about game 2, you're not really worried about this first match anymore.
Yeah, and something that we're seeing here out of GMU is they're just faster than Coastal, right? They're at the right spot at the right time. They're even shooting on their own net at this point, just practicing fundamentals. It's a bit demoralizing, honestly.
Yeah, and if you're Coastal, you can't think about that. You have to purely think about how you are playing as a team. You can't worry about what GMU is doing outside of them scoring on your goal. You have to worry about what to do to counter that. You have to worry about how to go forward. You cannot worry. You cannot think. You cannot get mentally tilted or boomed about what GMU is doing, whether it be on your goal or their own goal. You need to worry about what your plan is for the coming matchup, as GMU will find another goal as Titanium will just nice turn around, make a U-turn, get past the defenders, and unfortunately Coastal not able to find that save.
Yeah, and 30 seconds remaining here. So Coastal just needs to weather the storm a little bit longer and they can move on to game 2. And we've seen this before, right? We saw this yesterday where there was a 7-0 victory and we saw the teams come back from something like this in game 2. So it really is worrying about that mental and not getting boomed, but Dev gonna find another goal there.
That was one amazing shot. The air dribble straight into the goal. Coastal did have a little bit of a bump fest with GMU and Dev, but Dev coming out on top, finding that shot. GMU now 8-1 with 18 seconds left. We've said it before, but I'm going to say it one more time. Coastal needs to think about game number 2 more than anything else.
Absolutely, and Titanium just going to get another one in right now. And I was worried that was just going to get a kickoff goal there.
Wow.
Titanium just at the right place at the right time. This is what I'm talking about, where GMU is just faster. They're in the places that Coastal wants to be before Coastal can even get there.
Yeah, and we are going to see that Coastal will get the kickoff and start that pressure onto GMU, but GMU, just like that, able to rotate around and take control of this little battle for the ball here and keep that control ball. GMU is going to try to just touch it on the ground, finish this one out. And then GMU taking match number 1. Going into match number 2, Coastal needs to fully reset and think about what they want to do.
Yeah, and I think that's exactly what they're doing right now. They're talking it out. They're taking some time to just reset that mental, sit back down, maybe have a talk with the coach to just calm out, chill out, reset what's happening here, what's going on through your mind, and come back into this with a level head, come back into this with maybe a cooler head as well. We've seen comebacks before. We've seen really the one-sided games, really lopsided games turn into that team that was losing into making a comeback, making a win.
Yeah, and that's what you need to do right now is you now need to say, and we've said it before, it's a game like Rocket League. Anything can happen in game number 2. Game number 1 can normally tell you how series won't go. They never can really predict how the game is going to go. And we saw it, yes, we saw how Clemson did with that first 7-0 and then almost, falling out in that second matchup and going forward. So, you know, it's going to be interesting to see how Coastal does into game number 2 and going forward in this matchup.
Absolutely. And Ryan and I are laughing a little bit as our production manager almost ate the floor at this point.
It's okay. Nothing fell. You may have saw the camera wiggle a
shake
little bit.
Yeah,
but that's okay. That's okay. The point is, everything's okay. Nothing's fallen. Even our prop manager is okay, and that's what we care about. Because if he's not here, well, we probably wouldn't be on this stage right now. As game number 2 is going to start up, and just like that, 7 seconds in, Titanium is going to be that hard metal that he is, and is going to find a nice shot.
Yeah, again, this is almost exactly what we saw last game, where they were just getting, back into this. And, I mean, GMU kicking things off so fast.
Yeah, and GMU is doing a really good job able to take that victory already, and now they're going to start match number 2 up really well and go forward. Coastal Carolina, you did that mental reset, you're thinking, and one goal from Titanium off the kickoff does not mean that it's over, right? You can still bring this back. One goal is a lot different than being up by 8, so Coastal has a chance to bring this back, but they need to work on the rotations. They need to know where they want to go to actually take this true victory.
I mean, and if you are Coastal, you have to be thinking about incremental increases and improvements here. We're already at 4 minutes and 13 seconds, and there is still only one goal on the board right now. Before, when we hit that 1 minute mark, GMU had already scored 4 times. So the fact that Coastal has been able to keep GMU at bay, has been able to make it difficult for them to even get near the goal, is exactly what you like to see. And already Coastal getting a bit aggressive. We're seeing GMU have some bumps out here, but Coastal knows how to play physical as well. They got a demo, and they're trying to make something happen. A very dangerous center here. Thankfully, it will be swatted away by the Coastal defense. But again, look at the aggression from GMU. They are just relentless with how they keep pushing the attack.
Yeah, Titanium's going to find another shot here onto Coastal, but Coastal's doing a really good job, right? Because in a minute last game, GMU was already up 5.
Yep.
Now they're only up by 2. Coastal's been doing a really good defense. Now Coastal needs to switch from that defense and we'll start working on getting that offensive side and actually making those goals on the offensive side. Rather than just being aggressive and looking for those demos, you need to capitalize on that. And that's where Coastal needs to move their focus to now.
I think Coastal also needs to worry, and I think they've been doing a better job in this game, but they need to worry about those kickoffs. I know a lot of kickoff setups are mental and kind of like that mind gamey where you don't know exactly what they're going to do, but we saw them give up a lot of kickoff goals early on in game 1, and so having the ability to kind of shore up those holes, shore up those mistakes is what they need to do to make these games a little bit closer.
Yeah, and GMU is still struggling to find these shots. Coastal is able to put up a really good defense and continue forward against this team as we're approaching 2 minutes and 45 seconds, almost at that halfway point. GMU is doing Coastal is doing a really good job at keeping this defense, not letting GMU get that advantage that they had in game number 1. And in this best of 5, it is all about how well Coastal can go forward and take this victory on the offensive side. GMU will eventually get that shot through all the pressure. We are going to see that Coastal goes in for the defense, can't quite get it as Dev is able to find that Phoenix of a shot, but GMU still doing a really good job.
I mean, I really love that shot out of Dev. It was the fake, let it bounce, let the defense jump for it, and then just a little tap over the cars. But Josh Squasher is going to immediately follow up Dev into another goal for GMU. And just like that, GMU went from having 1 goal to having 4 goals in the snap of a finger. And again, I think they just want to show their dominance in this tournament and that they're not afraid of anyone.
Yeah, and this is where Coastal needs to try and reset. You can maybe see a little bit that Coastal is in their heads, a slight bit about this matchup, about going up against GMU. And I mean, you can't be, right? GMU is this true beast of this tournament. GMU, USC, Northeastern, these are the 3 teams that you should be scared of no matter who you are, right? And so when you go into this matchup, you can't beat yourself up about GMU finding shot after shot, as Josh Squasher is going to find another one here, because you put up a great defense, right? If you're Coastal, you put up a defense for about 2.5 minutes, and GMU was only able to make one shot off of that. And this is a best of 5. It's not like yesterday, which was a best of 3. You now have a chance. Okay, you see how GMU played on the aggressiveness. Now you've adapted to defense. Now for match number 3, you can start thinking about, okay, can we move from this defense and put some of our own aggression in?
And I think this is also where we see the benefit of the double elimination here, where yes, Coastal has to immediately, day one, beginning of the day, 9 or 10 a.m., come in here, and they need to take on GMU, right? That is a scary notion, especially with a newer team here. But the benefit of the double elimination is that regardless of the fact that they're taking on GMU first things first, they will have another opportunity in that loser's bracket to move forward. And now that they've played against GMU, they can take a little bit of time and take a little bit of that information and try to use it against some of the other teams that they will be playing against a little bit later in the day.
Yeah, and as we are going to be approaching this 1 minute mark, this is where Coastal can start to think about what they want to do going forward. But this is another thing I want to mention, right, is though we still have one more match after this, at least, where George Mason is probably going to be ended up to take this match number right here. If you're Coastal, you just went up against probably the best or one of the best teams in this invitational, and you put some incredible defense against them. So that is where you really need to think about, okay, if you're Coastal, you know, you came to this tournament, a lot of people were thinking this, you know, is going to be a very interesting team to see. They're very, very new. And now they put up a defense like this against GMU. You have a chance.
There is a chance indeed. I mean, right now, I'm going to be honest. It is looking like a little bit of a slim chance, but I think Coastal has a better chance throughout the rest of the tournament for pushing forward, maybe even getting a little bit deeper into that loser side of things. But I mean, right now against GMU, Coastal just doesn't seem to have any answer. GMU will look like they're going to end this game 5-0 in match number 2, and there it is. GMU will take the win, going up 2-0 in that set count here. Remember, it is a best of 5, so GMU is on match point moving forward. Although, while we're in the middle of the game, we're going to throw it over to our man on the floor, Kyler, with some more on the floor reporting. So, Kyler, take it away.
Guys, we are up at the side stage right now. We've got Northeastern and UNCW, UNC Wilmington playing right behind me. Northeastern jumped out to a quick lead, 5-1 in the first game, and they are now in the middle of the second game currently. So they're about even right now. UNCW trying to fight their way back into this series. Somebody was asking me what I think the keys to success are today. And honestly, I think it's going to come down to staying hydrated, stretching, and communicating well. Guys, back to you.
Thank you so much, Kyler. I love having him. I love Kyler so much, and the fact that he's here on the floor, he's talking to the people in the venue, he's looking around, he's making sure we're staying up to date with everything going on and everything happening. So great to have him. Great to be here. I'm just excited, honestly.
Yeah, it's nice to have Kyler, you know, every so often. Well, you know, we're standing here, but we can sometimes see Kyler in our peripheral vision just run across the upper level, and it's really fun to watch. But it not only is a little humorous, but it's also really, really nice to have that someone who has that connection with the audience, with the players, with the staff, that's able to say, hey, you know, what are your thoughts going in? How are you feeling? And really building that sort of connection. And I mean, Kyler, that's probably one of the best guys you could have doing that, right? I mean, who doesn't love Kyler?
I think it's scientifically impossible not to love Kyler at this point.
Yeah, no, you can't disprove it.
He's
it's
genetically mutated at this point. Like some of the fish here.
Those fish are wild.
Yeah, we're just now waiting for the players to get into the lobby, but here on the boardwalk on the beach, if you've seen the fish in the water here, they are massive. They are insanely large.
They're very well fed.
It is terrifying at points.
Have you fed the fish yet?
No, you can feed the fish?
Yeah, so there's little vending machines all around the boardwalk with little fish food in them. But the scariest part is if you find the right spot, all the fish will flap on each other and they're like practically jumping out of the water. And by the way, he's the one who brought up the fish conversation this time, so keep that in mind. But it looks like the players are done with our fish conversation as they are ready once more for match number 3. This is match point for GMU, match number 1 of the morning. It's 10:30 in the morning, but it doesn't matter because these players are on fire.
They are indeed. I mean, and they're trying to make sure that they're warmed up for the rest of the day, because we've talked about it before. This is going to be a long day for everyone. The players need to make sure that they are mentally prepared, that they are mentally ready to take on whatever challenges face them. And GMU, they look ready. This is just another day at the office for them, as we do see Joshua Squasher start things off. Not as fast as we've seen in the past. That was about 34 seconds before GMU was able to get that first score. And again, we talked about it before, it's incremental improvements, and Coastal already slowing down the onslaught of GMU.
Yeah, GMU starting off strong once more in this best of 5 series. We are going to see that Coastal's going to get a little aggressive here and start to put that pressure back onto GMU, not give them as easy as a time as that did happen in round number 1 here. And that's what you need to do if you're Coastal, right? You have the defense, now you need to add that offense into your play style. And this is that match that counts, as you are now in that sudden death before you move into that losers bracket. The ball will now be on the side of Coastal Carolina's field, and GMU is going to keep that pressure on. But Coastal doing a really good job right now at contesting this ball and make sure GMU does not get exactly what they want out of it.
I mean, and that's what I was going to say a little bit earlier, is that you want to make sure that GMU's off the rotations. And oh my gosh, the double demo, but GMU can't capitalize on it. Coastal comes back and they're able to save the ball a little bit longer. I don't know what happened there. A rare miss from GMU. They had that double demo, net was open, no one was around, and they just couldn't finish it.
Yeah, and you got to give credit to Coastal. They were able to just, you know, even though they had 2 of their players demoed there, the one that was still there was still able to keep it going, while the other 2 were able to respawn in, and GMU not able to make that goal, and Coastal was able to make a quick and fast recovery onto that ball. As we are going to see the shot's going to come in, but not going to go quite yet for Coastal. But that's the aggression you need to see if you're Coastal Carolina. You need to get aggressive. You can't let GMU take advantage of your defense and of your passive play.
Ooh, Coastal was so close there. They could taste it. The shot was just a little bit wide, and you can see them getting a little bit more aggressive. They're trying to get these corner boosts, but man, GMU not only is so good at taking your corner boosts, but they're so good at securing their own as well. Even as Coastal is trying to maybe swipe away some of those big boost packs, GMU is already there. It's like they know exactly what Coastal wants to do. They are quite literally in their minds right now.
Yeah, and GMU is now still going to be a little bit more on that defensive side here, as Coastal is going to keep this ball relatively safe. Still 1 goal, and we are below half of the match here. And Coastal's doing a really good job at not letting GMU get as far forward as they did in the past. This is still possible for Coastal Carolina to bring this back and go forward here, as GMU is still needing to find that second goal to secure. But Coastal Carolina is having some great defense. I am the living definition of a caster curse, Alexander. I'm so sorry.
I hear you. That's all right. Dev, doesn't matter whether or not there are 2, whether or not there are 3, whether there are 5 defenders, Dev will put it into the back of the net. I mean, and that's exactly what we're seeing here. Coastal even got a demo. There's an opportunity, but it's just a little bit wide. And once again, Coastal is so close yet so far at putting a score on the board, at even getting the game a little bit closer. But 1 minute and 40 seconds remaining, still down by 2. Coastal has been showing some signs of life in this matchup, in this match in particular, where they have been having the ability to take some shots here. GMU is going to stop that. But here we go. Again, Coastal, they're getting aggressive. They're taking shots on net. This is what they need to do, and this is what they need to be doing. They need to be catching GMU off guard, picking up those corner boosts, just making it difficult. Demo, again, a demo in return as well. But Coastal, there's an opportunity, an advantage, trying to get the 1v1. Doesn't quite get it. The 50-50 goes in favor of GMU. Coastal able to pick up the possession, but passes it right over to GMU, who is just keeping this aggression moving on.
Yeah, and 1 minute remaining here. GMU still up 2 in this series. Both of the match as well as the game, as Deb will go in for a shot, but it will not be counted towards GMU quite yet here. 42 seconds left. Coastal needs to make some things start to work if they want to continue forward in this series, if they want to give GMU a run for their money here. But GMU is still struggling to find as many goals as they have in the past, and we are going to see that as we reach that 30-second mark. Coastal Carolina, there is still a possibility for them to get out in this matchup.
There is a possibility, but again, it is a mountain to climb. It just feels like GMU has been so dominant throughout day one, as well as just starting out in day 2 as well. It's just so difficult for anyone to stop, GMU and what they're doing.
Yeah, and that just like that, we are going to see that GMU, that's what you want to see, right? You want to see that true power that GMU brings to this table, keeping up that really good aggression, offensive play, defensive play, and just not letting Coastal get what they want out of it here. And just like that, you are going to see that GMU is going to take that victory.
Yeah, I think this is kind of what we expected, though, right? The seed 1 versus the 8th seed. We knew that it was going to be a difficult game for Coastal coming into this matchup, but I think we saw some signs of life, especially at the end there, and we also saw GMU going, really aggressive. We saw them start out very, very strong game 1, just showing off what they can do and how well they can do it.
Yeah, and one thing I want to mention about this loss for Coastal Carolina is they are not out yet, right?
Right.
There is still a chance for Coastal Carolina in the lower bracket for them to make their mercy run here. And after that, seeing how well that Coastal played against GMU, there is definitely chance for Coastal to go really, really far.
Absolutely, and what I'm loving here is GMU's coming around. You see it in kind of the bottom lower part of the screen here. GMU's coming around. They're hitting them with the GGs. It was a good matchup. Understand it was hard, but moving forward, we'll see you maybe later in the tournament. And I do like that kind of sportsmanship of coming around, making sure that you're saying GGs, the handshakes, the fist bumps, whatever you need. Just a little bit of sportsmanship. I really respect that.
Yeah, and it's a little bit of sportsmanship, but it's also from a side of knowing your opponent's skill. And Coastal definitely is one of the lowest. I think it is the lowest lowest team rank in this entire invitational, and they just went up against one of the best, if not the best teams here, and GMU knows that, and they had a rough time in match number 3, even in match number 2, getting those points off at first. So you've got to give respect where respect is due to your opponents.
Absolutely. When we talked about it before yesterday, right? GMU all SSLs, of course, the highest rank in Rocket League. Coastal in that GC kind of champ range as well. But it looks like we have the man himself, the legend. Kyler is on standby with the winning team to get an interview and figure out how GMU is feeling after game 1. So Kyler, take it away.
Guys, you're calling me the legend, but I'm standing next to one right now. Dev, congratulations, man. You guys really showed why you secured that #1 seed yesterday, continued that momentum into today. I was asking you a little bit as we were walking over about your guys' experience. You look right at home here, even though you're coming from so far out of town. Tell me a little bit about your guys' LAN experience together as of so far.
This is my second LAN. My first LAN was 2 weeks ago. We played down at Virginia Wesleyan University. But when it comes to like Zach and Josh, they've played together for years. They've been to many LANs together. They've been to the CRL National Championship, LANs before. So they have, lots of experience. So they're pretty home. This is like their home more or less.
Absolutely, man. And again, it's really showed with the way you've been able to establish yourselves here as of so far. Really strong showing again, and just continue to fire on all cylinders against Coastal Carolina. What was your guys' mindset at the end of yesterday, moving into today? What were you kind of thinking about to keep that going?
We just like to play our own game. Control the game. Just play fast, play smart. Keep the comms up. I was looking a bit rough yesterday, but I fixed my settings. So I think today I was looking really good, and I just excited to play again.
I couldn't agree with you more, man. Absolutely. You guys were all looking fantastic. Again, GMU, the #1 seed, rolls to a quick 3-0. We're going to be looking forward to seeing you guys throughout the rest of the day here as well, here at Boost on the Beach Day 2. But I will throw it back to Alex and Ryan. Guys, take it away.